Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
And how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty well.
On behalf of the publisher of GbaramatuVoice, we appreciate you for the time.
Thank you for bringing me.
Hold on.
Thank you so much. And
hold on, please.
You can continue.
okay, like you rightly noted a few minutes ago that you've been busy since morning. I can assure you that we are here to spend time and not to waste it.
Thank you.
Yeah, from that fact, I'm going to be business minded in this conversation. To all of us gathered here in this studio, you are a public figure. And by virtue of that fact, you need no introduction. But for the benefit of our teeming followers out there, I would like you to, in simple language, introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Omoyele Sowore, and just to introduce myself in a very suitable manner is to, at this time, I'm a presidential candidate going for the president of Nigeria in the 2023 general election. And I'm here tonight to talk about my vision for Nigeria. Explain some things about my background and anything you might want to know on behalf of your newspaper.
Of course, that would be interesting and alluring to the ears. So, but before then, because I know that's the main kernel of our conversation, your presidential ambition.
Yes.
But before then, we would like to know, talk a little bit about life before politics. As an incentive, sir, I would like to ask, before now, there is your personality, quote and unquote, have enjoyed a kind of identity crisis. Some describes you as a journalist, others as an activist, then the rest as a politician. So tell us, who are you?
I'm a Nigerian citizen, but I feel better when I'm described as a political activist. Because I've been involved in the political life of Nigeria for over 3 decades. And news publisher, an online news publisher of Sahara Reporters.
Yeah, that qualifies as a journalist.
Yes.
And publisher. Yeah, okay.
And the politician part is something I don't like to answer because Nigerians just think that the moment you are called a politician, it has some very negative connotations.
Of course.
The one that is prominent is that you can't be trusted.
So, are you now saying that you can be trusted, that you are different from the punch of other politicians?
Yes, that's why I put in front of you my experience or my years of service, if you like to put it that way, in the service of humanity. That if something has been done consistently for 32 years, it is not a joke.
At all.
It's all great until you die.
Exactly, and I appreciate your efforts, sir. Just like the generality of Nigerians. But the issue is this: it's so painful that the more effort you make, the more astray Nigeria goes. So, what exactly is the problem, sir? Is it leadership or the constitution?
It is leadership. And it's leadership that made constitution, the ratified constitution. When America wanted to set up their constitution, they selected some of their most brilliant people to go to Philadelphia to write it. If you see even some of the handwriting involved, you know that a lot of work was put into the constitution. And when you needed amendments to adjust to the reality of modern life, they adjusted it. Because the first constitution of the US, for example, did not contain women's rights.
Of course.
It did not deal with the rights of blacks to vote. It was as a matter of sin in those times that your refusal to accept slavery is a disease.
Yeah.
So, but over time, because it's supposed to be a living document, leadership continued to adjust it. But Nigerian rulers created a constitution. Constitution should be created by citizens. But the Nigerian constitution is creating its citizens.
But even, you know, I could remember that the first chapter of the Constitution says, "We, the people of Nigeria."
So that shows to you that that document is a fraudulent document.
So, what is the way forward?
The way forward is to realize how far gone we have, you know, strayed into the wrong direction, and to, as a result, make a conscious effort to redirect ourselves back to sanity by taking the revolutionary step of electing the kind of citizens that ought to be in the leadership positions of this country everywhere, and ensure that we follow them up to the point that they do what is right by us. So, and that is why people like me decided to come out. Otherwise, I would have been comfortable with being an activist.
So that explains why you joined politics.
Yes.
Or why you joined, you know, you declared the intention for the presidential ambition.
This is my second time.
Your second time, okay.
Because I realized that no matter how hard we try as activists, as long as we don't have the right representation on these platforms, running the country, making decisions for us, because these decisions are so fundamental. Do you know that your name is not your name until the government accepts it?
Of course. Even when I died.
Yes. Even when you die, government must issue you a death certificate before anything else can happen. After you are gone, when someone dies, you should not worry about it. But that's how powerful government is. So if you want to be properly governed, you must ensure that you put the right people to manage your affairs. Because you cannot even marry until government accepts that you are married.
No. That's pathetic.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't have children and send them to school until government accepts they can go to school.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this, you know, for your frankness. But at the same time, sir, I'm not like trying to preempt your intention of joining, you know, gunning for the presidency.
Yes.
But, you know, going by commentaries, people are of the views that we should go back to, you know, regional system of government. Others are saying, you know, amendment of the constitution. The rest are saying, you know, that let's divide and go our ways. What do you think is the, you know, civil thing to do, sir?
All of these options you are mentioning are civil. If they were not civil,
so which of them is most workable?
The most important of them all is to create a nation space that accommodates all of these agitations and aspirations. So, but what I keep telling people when I ask for a revolution, they say, "Oh, that's too extreme." Is that without a revolution, you can't change the Nigerian constitution.
Serious?
I'm telling you, because all the things you need to change in Nigeria constitutionally, the constitution opposes it. People are asking for restructuring. According to the Nigerian constitution, you are trying to commit a crime. Those who are asking to break away, according to the Nigerian constitution, you are committing a crime. It's treasonable felony.
Of course.
So until you change the constitution, and the constitution is a fraudulent, I keep saying it, no country thrives on a fraudulent constitution. Constitution is so important in the life of a country, like it's like oxygen. You know, it's just like going to an election without a manifesto.
Yes.
What do you hold you to after you won? You've won. So this is why I keep saying anybody who has reached a tipping point for Nigeria should be looking in my direction. Because I'm the only person who doesn't miss what that Nigeria is in need of revolution. And that revolution would happen whether we like it or not. The question people ask is it going to be violent or peaceful?
Exactly.
That is usually determined by the oppressor.
By the oppressor?
Yes. It's the oppressor
So
that determines the nature and character of resistance.
From your own perspective,
Yes.
you know, in a simple context, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at a leadership that can make all these things happen in a peaceful way. Because if we don't address them, peace will no longer be an option after a while.
Wow.
You know, we can't hold people down for too long and say to them, "Oh, you're not entitled to decent wage." oh, your children cannot go to school that they want. We'll close down your universities because your lecturers are too stubborn. You know, we will not give you a job except you know somebody. You will not be able to get admission into school because we are not interested in your progress because you are not in charge of somebody. All these injustices combined together will ultimately lead to an uprising. You know, but that uprising, we can stop it if we do the right thing by our people.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Because even countries that are doing the best for their citizens still get citizens who are restless. They complain a lot of times. There's no day I go out in the US when I live there that there were no protests on the streets. No time that you go to the US that there are no protests on the streets. So people are always protesting about all kinds of stuff.
Exactly.
Because by nature, humans are never satisfied, you know, with needs that they want, even when they have them in abundance. So that's the way I see it. And this is why I keep telling people that it's in our own interest to listen to our people now. Because very soon it will be too late.
To do that.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. In fact, I'm enjoying this conversation. But, you know, before coming here, you know, there is these fears out there.
Yes.
Yeah, people have that belief in you, but they are afraid of the, you know, helicopter, you know, ambition.
What is helicopter ambition?
From the, you know, from being a civil activist to presidency, without passing through the ranks and file like House of Reps, Senate, and, you know, to gain that experience. Is the assertion correct?
It's patently wrong. Because if were that to be correct, Nigeria will not be in the situation where it is now. Reason is simple. Who is supposed to run Nigeria the best if these experiences are valuable? Obasanjo would have been the best president because he was president before for 3 years, and then he came back in 1999. Buhari should be better than Obasanjo because he was president in 1983 and came back in 2015. So these experiences people are asking for are the negative experiences that have destroyed this country. If that is the case, why is it that when you are looking for a job, you don't go apply for the same job that you are on? You go for a job that is bigger than. If you want to leave your place of work now, your expectation is that you go to a higher space. You don't stay there and say, oh.
Arithmetically or geometrically?
Mostly geometrically. Yes. Everybody is always aspiring for the best. And nobody should tell you that it cannot be the best. But the most important thing is to even go the right of logic. Where did Mandela come from? Prison, presidency. The young man in France, how old is he? Which House of Rep did he go to? Some people say he was inside. Obama was a community organizer. Had a few months in the Senate of the US. Became president. They still say today that he's the best president that the US ever had. So, the thing is inverse logic. And this inverse logic is aimed at discouraging the best. Because they have looked at this and said, we can't defeat Sowore in intellect. We can't defeat his character. He has never stolen money before. So let's be asking, why he doesn't have experience? But look at what experienced people did to your country. Experienced people turned Nigeria to the poverty capital of the world. Are you going to say that Buhari, governor of Gongola State, what used to be 3 states, he used to be governor, Minister of Petroleum Resources, you understand? Head of state before, now head of state the second time, and he leaves you like this, and you are still looking for those type of experience. Yes, that's the point.
Yeah, with this explanation, you know, we come to the main kernel of our today's conversation, the presidency.
Yes.
Sowore's 2023 presidency. Sir, how achievable is it?
You are sitting beside someone who mostly has done impossibles in his life. I will start from where I come from. You know, I grew up beside a lake in Niger Delta region. I'm a job boy.
This is serious.
Yes.
You know, sorry, many Nigerians weren't aware of this.
Yes, that's why you should let me finish. I never dreamt that I would even go to secondary school.
Wow.
Because we were fisher people. We were fishing. Follow my dad was a teacher fishing. My dad's only expectation of me is to become a teacher. But I dreamt and worked towards impossible. I did not inherit wealth from anybody. When my father died, he died with all his children having not gone to school half of them. So I didn't inherit any properties, no businesses. I pulled myself up and made it from a village called Kiribo and went all the way, not direct, to Lagos, University of Lagos. Attended one of the best universities in the US, Columbia University, was one of top 10 universities in the US, called them Ivy League. Set up a business in the heart of New York City, Sahara Reporters, that became a global brand without any assistance. All of this sheer ingenuity. What else do I need to tell you about myself? I've only tried on the impossible side of life's spectrum. Things that things never expected. If I let nature to control my life, I'll be a one tapper today. No, I'm probably one of the best. But I'm just telling you, when I joined others to fight against the military, it was an impossible task. The military were killing people left, right, and center. And they said nobody can have democracy in our own time. You do not defeat the military by violence. I was one of them. I was part of the environmental movement. And what happened? Well, oil companies not brought to their knees in Niger Delta at the point, sheer determination. Even though they are killed Kensarewa, could they kill everybody? So everything that you are saying that I have been involved in, they are impossible things. How could somebody with no knowledge of journalism create a publishing platform that became a global product? That shows to you that you are talking to someone who has lived on the impossible size of life spectrum and have made a good thing out of it. So don't worry about how to make it a presidency. You worry about how you mobilize people behind my ambition.
Exactly.
And together we will inspire a new generation of people who will believe in even bigger impossibles.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, sir. But we have to move on.
Yes.
The economy as we speak is on its knees. If elected or when elected, how are you going to tackle the economy, sir?
The Nigerian economy did not get to where it is today by default. It was pushed there. It was pushed into bankruptcy by greedy people. It was pushed into tailspin by incompetent people. It was pushed into the situation it is now because we love mediocre people to run our affairs. And the first thing is to put in place people who are real economists. But you cannot be an economist addressing economic problem without understanding the political economy of your geographical catchment area. People think that the World Bank, IMF, Structural Adjustment Program model is a one-size-fits-all. It has proven to fail in more places than even the IMF has ever been to. So we need new economic models, and they must be dependent on spreading wealth, creating and spreading wealth. For a long time, Nigeria's problem was never wealth creation. It was wealth distribution.
Sure.
That's what created our economic problem. Because when it was time to build schools, monies that were meant for schools for majority of our people were diverted to send children of rich people to school. When it was time to build roads that would have been the bedrock of our economic infrastructural development by now, the monies were taken to build private homes and mansions. When it was time to build hospitals, they were diverted to treat the rich and their families. So the wealth that we had were diverted and stolen. 600 billion is what the figures are saying that has been stolen. You do your math at 700 naira to a dollar. What $600 billion would have done to the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian state by now? The electricity you are supposed to be enjoying permanently now, it goes and come back because you don't have even transmission infrastructure to distribute electricity. So to solve the problem, so that people won't say that, oh, you're just talking about the problem, is to start tackling it systematically, medium, long-term goals. The first with the economic development is that you must go back to ensuring that people are secure in this country. You must invest heavily in education because it is one of your citizens that would invent, innovate, and bring the economy back. We have depended too much on outsiders to dictate that to us, and we have become a dumping ground. Then we must start producing. I didn't say production, manufacturing. Because if you don't produce, you will perish. But you cannot produce anything in Nigeria until you resolve your electricity problem. You have an energy crisis. It's not only electricity, it's just part of it. Because are we using our gas reserves to our advantage? No. Are we using even our crude oil for advantage? The answer is no. Are you creating wealth in such a way that is equitable? The answer is no. You just set up Nigeria as a rentier society. Everybody is just cashing out. So anybody that makes it is seen as a genius, not the people that work for it. So until you change all that with leaders that are transparent, leaders that are accountable, and leaders that are passionate about social and economic justice, so that they think about their citizens. The investment that China made, that turned China around, was done in the citizens, particularly even in the educational sector. The one that India did is also investment in citizens. Go and do a Google search of major chief executive officers of major Fortune 500 companies in the world. Most of them are Indians. Google, India. Why did they get there? Because their leaders invested in education years ago. Those that were invested in came back and invested in their country. They came back from Silicon Valley. They came back from medical professionals all over the world. Today, if you are sick, the place where you can find the best and affordable health care for you is in India. We spend over $2 billion on India. You probably have contributed to somebody's travel to India before to seek medical help.
Yeah, of course.
But your leader has refused to build here. We lost 8,000 doctors already after COVID that left in the last 2 years. Where are you going to get them back if you don't invest in education? But with due respect, and I apologize that I've said this online, live, the idiots managing this country closed down university for 6 months. At the time, you have lost 8,000 doctors. So how are you going to regain? And there's no hope of reopening the university. And the Nigerian citizens are just watching. You know, NAS, the National Association of Nigerian Students, came to this Abuja to do convention. They did not talk about ASU strike. They were here for 2 weeks ahead. There's nothing wrong with the country.
Yeah. So, in effect, we are part of the problem. The people, as in the followers.
Don't blame followers, because followers don't fall from the sky. Same way leaders don't fall from the sky. But we have a peculiar problem that the followers used to choose their leaders. But Nigeria has been so terrible that the leaders have been able to create the kind of followers they want. And you will see it from how we, how we celebrate non-entities, non-entities, how we elevate them, how we embrace schemes, pyramid schemes. When the rest of the world had already known that MMM was a scam, Nigerians embraced it. The same thing with even our religious doctrines. When the rest of the people who brought religion to us had changed half of the doctrine, we are still stuck with the one that they brought. When people say to you, after you finish praying, get off your knees so that you can know your prayers are answered, Nigerians will make sure they will bring pillow on their knees. So it's so terrible, but it's not complicated. Because one of the lies that Nigerian leaders tell you is that Nigeria is a complex place to manage. My answer is simple. Any country where one single person can steal 150 billion without being detected is not a complex country to manage. Because monies are the most difficult things to steal in complex countries.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's a new one.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. In fact, it's going as planned. Now, we want to take you back home, sir.
Yes.
The Niger Delta. Is a region that has suffered so long of deprivations and degradation.
Yes.
When you assume position of the president, how do you plan to tackle sustainably the challenge of that region?
I tell people, the issue of Niger Delta is personal to me.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Because just like most people in Niger Delta, I grew up poor in the midst of wealth, like real wealth. I grew up not knowing, not having television, even though the wealth of Nigeria was taken out of my own region. I grew up not getting immunized, except that one that we have on the left arm, because there were no hospitals. I grew up to see people die of preventable diseases. I see corrugated iron roofs rusting away because of cancerous chemicals in Niger Delta. I see water that's drinkable, polluted. I saw in my lifetime a variety of fish disappear completely, become extinct. So nobody needs to tell me the story of the Niger Delta. If I talk too much about Niger Delta, I'll be accused of bias. They will accuse me of wanting to go there to go and take care of the interests of Niger Delta. But the issue of Niger Delta is not just a general justice system. There's an economic justice agenda to it. There's an international justice issue, there's an environmental justice issue, there's an ecological justice issue to the Niger Delta region. So the injustices done to the Niger Delta region, let me put it this way. The injustice done to the Niger Delta region is done to planetary bodies, as water, the ecology, the people, and the air they breathe. And then if you now add that to the political injustices that has been circulating in the region forever, starting from the days of the invasion of Akasa by the British over the sale of palm oil, which led to the removal of Njanja Opopo into exile or banishment. It has come a long way. If you know the history of Niger Delta, you will not be asking me how far we go, because it's a historical injustice that has to be taken care of. But also part of the solution is to elect leaders who understand how to solve the problem of Niger Delta region in such a way that they are not leaders who feel like the Niger Delta is a money problem alone. you throw money at it and then you disappear, just as we're doing now. Oh, we can't export oil, kill a few militants, throw money at the rest, so that exploration and exports can continue. But Niger Delta is in need of a future that's not dependent on oil.
Wow.
Yes.
How?
The Niger Delta region should be thinking about energy transition, because very soon, if you have oil, you have to drink it, because nobody will buy it from you. The world is changing so fast, but the Niger Delta is not captured mentally in that transition. You know, people are flying planes now with solar power. So the next biggest resource in this country might be based in the north, solar power farms. And when that resource go there, you, the Niger Delta people with oil, they have nothing to agitate for you because nobody is buying the product. So the investment for transition should start now. But this requires clairvoyance that the leaders of the country and from the region also understand this. We have tried the minimalist interventions. We go and shoot a few places up, we come back. Ask everybody that came to Abuja during Jonathan's time and were big men, why are they no longer in Abuja? Because they can't afford the lifestyle. The free do is gone. But had we invested all those monies in building universities that can graduate 4,000 kids per year, by now I'm finished the East-West Highway into a 6-lane road by now. The Niger Delta economy would have developed in such a way that we will have an economy that can support our agitation for resource control. But again, leaders who understand the future matter. So many of them who were rich yesterday, they are broke now. Very broke. Because we're not making investments in the things that we should be investing in: education, infrastructure, security. You know, when I'm talking about security, I'm not talking about pipeline security. I'm not concerned about pipeline security because pipelines are also part of the problem. There are people who have big Niger Delta oil fields in the world who will never drill because they're thinking about the future of their children. Because you can't clean up the Niger Delta in the next 50 years. The damage has been done, even if they start cleaning now.
Mm-hmm.
But the oil in Niger Delta will not last another 50 years.
So meaning that the problem is going to outlive the resources.
Absolutely. How are you going to clean up the Niger Delta? You're not from there.
Yeah, yes.
How are you going to clean it up? How can you even clean up Ogoni land in the next 50 years when they have not commenced almost 10 years after the UN declared that the cleaning should come? When you're talking about environmental damage, you have no idea how far down this thing has gone. And the damage is not just to ecology, it's a damage to, it's a mental damage too, that you have ruined the esteem of the people of the region forever in some cases. So that's it.
Thank you, sir. And you know, this is very painful and pathetic at the same time. But you know, sir, if we are asked to appropriate this challenge between the federal and the state government, who is more culpable? Because there is this issue or this argument that the 13% derivation given to the states, that if it were properly managed, that would have been enough to put the region in order. Do you believe in that argument?
No, I believe partially that 13% was something that was negotiated for by people who didn't think ahead of time. If they did, they would have realized that 13% is nothing. They would have gone for broke. You know, it's not like you want to go and buy something in the market. You know, they say, the person selling it to you, if you are engaging in hardware, you say, I want to sell this shirt to you for 50,000 naira. But you know you have 10,000 now. You keep negotiating until it agrees to 10,000 and you pay and you leave. That's how you would have done the Niger Delta requirement for over 100%. by now will be more than will be around 60%. But even if we are 100% control of our resources, and you put thieves there, what difference will it make? The 13%, like you said, because of political injustice, the people give you 13%, make sure that they accompany the 13% with thieves as your governors. Because the problem of Niger Delta region is that you also don't choose your leaders. They've made it such that you can't choose your leaders without the interest of outsiders of the region. Look, for instance, how do you have an NPC that's taking oil from your region and everybody who's heading it is not from Niger Delta? And you expect Niger Delta to develop? I like competent people, but Niger Delta also have competent people who can be MD of.
Exactly.
Yeah. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So who can be MD of NNPC? How do you want to repair refineries and you want to bring people who are not from the area to come and be the contractors? It is simple logic that in America, the immigration policy is simple. They can only bring in outsiders for the jobs that they can't find their own citizens to do. And America has trained more than enough human beings to have enough people to cover. Then there's a shortage, they can adjust the law a bit. But the basic immigration policy, if you are hiring somebody to come and work in the US, it must be because I can't find anybody who can do the job about which. So the Niger Delta should have been that policy too, that the only way will allow you to hire anybody to manage any of the resources coming out, affiliate resources coming out of the place, is we cannot find a Niger Delta competent across the world to do the job. So this might sound controversial to you, but it's the reasonable way to resolve some of these injustices. There are people in Texas, I think they call them the Texan Hillbilly. They discovered oil in their area, and they had to control the 100% of the resources. So because of that, they became suddenly rich, and they used to make fun of the way they spend money. But yes, they started spending money anyhow, but over time they also started investing in money, and they became very wealthy. It is because they have access to the opportunities imagined for them. So the question of opportunity must also be addressed with regards to the Niger Delta. And that should apply to every part of Nigeria where resources are found. Including, and I said I know people don't talk about this, including areas where you have turbines giving us electricity. We should count them as resource areas as well. You can't just go and drive people away from their land, build Kanji Dam, and supply the whole country electricity. And you don't count electricity as a resource owned by them. It's their land. It's their water that is funding your turbine now. So the moment all these injustices are addressed as to who wants resources and where they should come from, the prosperity and peace that has eluded Nigeria will come to be. But it will take us beyond just this to address that, because I know we're running out of time.
So, thank you so much, sir. But just before we go,
Yes.
what message do you have for Nigerian youths?
Well, I want to tell Nigerian youth that every time they've always had opportunity, either during election cycles or not during election cycles. NSAS was an opportunity that was not appropriately utilized. If we utilize NSAS very well, we won't be talking about this election. We would have done early election, and a lot of people would have learned their lessons. We will not have some of the people who are in Nigeria today who have either gone on exile or gone on background. We would have rejigged Nigeria to institution. But Nigerian youths did not take a full advantage of that, and I'm not blaming them. There were a lot of factors. Now elections are coming again, another opportunity to peacefully transition into glory. Nigerian youth are getting distracted again because by the frontline political parties and their affiliates. You know what? There's something they call the West Fargo chariots. Wells Fargo is a U.S. bank. Where, in an attempt to win a race, the owner of the chariot will put 2 horses in place. Where he's the owner of the 2 horses.
So head or tail.
The head of tail. You know, that's what the political class does in Nigeria. Anytime there's election and they see that people are restless, they will introduce more than one candidate. And they will shout, these are the frontline candidates, and they will recruit the press. Meanwhile, they are the same. You know, look at all the so-called frontline candidates. They were former PDP, former APC. You know, Nigeria is the only country where you can go to bed as APC and wake up as PDP the next day. They are conjoined, at the tail. But Nigerian youths are not saying it. You know, they are not saying it. And I hope that in the next 5 months we'll get it right and know that anybody who has been part of the governance of this country in the last 23 years, since 1999, who had a chance to change their situation had not done so, should not be considered for position anymore. They should not, in fact, it should be an elimination series. Are you governor for 8 years? We don't want to hear from you. Except you can show us the states that you converted to Dubai or UAE, or one massive hospital that you built that they said any disease where you want to go to that place. Or any road where there's this road, there's no one other one like this in Nigeria. Because in Ghana, so one road that was built by Pamon Kuma is there. They call it the motorway. And this is something built in the 60s, 50s. Or one Ubunge school, university that you found here, and people are going to that school, they say, if you have not passed through that school before, you have not gone to school. All these people have done all these things have failed. And they will now come to the conclusion, that let's go for the lesser evil. In my history of hearing about evil, I've never heard of a junior evil before. All evils are equal. All evils are equal. They say that we are going for the lesser evil. That's sad. But like I said, they are hearing me, this is life. You're hearing me, youths. This is your time. Get rid of all the Milocons and go for the Awalocons. It's your time. It is our time. And don't be confused, because what I see now, I see a lot of confusion in the horizon. This is not about me. I don't have any sense of entitlement. But I'm desperate not to see this country go down further. And that's where I live in. Because history will be my witness. And history will absorb me.
Thank you so much. And that is how we are going to draw the curtain for today.
And I wanted to announce to our people that tomorrow we'll be in Lagos from 9 a.m. For about a week. So if you want to join us, starting from 9 a.m. at the airports in Ikeja. From there we're also moving to Ghana Farm May 13th Memorial event. So let's meet in Lagos, let's shut Lagos down. And great shout out to our brothers from GbaramatuVoice. I know your own device has been playing tricks on you, but we can always send you this and you can record it.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much for coming to me, and I will say to our people, we're back, live and direct. And you'll be hearing more from us. Narrative will be changed.
Amen.
You should not be doomed to be serving the same failed, more of the same politicians. They have nothing to offer. You're giving them opportunities. You don't want to turn yourself to Edo State under Lucky Guinea, where the father said, I know Lucky failed, but please help me let him repeat the class. And by the time they were done with Edo State, you all know the story.
Again, many thanks, sir.
Thank
And
you.
on behalf of the publisher, Mr. Jacob Abai, and the entire management and staff of GbaramatuVoice, we appreciate this time out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.